My name is Manushri Holkar. Today's subject is biology, lesson number 2, reproduction in plants and animals. So let's start. First question. What is meant by reproduction? Reproduction is the process by which organisms produce offspring of their own kind for continuous existence and survival of their species. Now next question is, what are the modes of reproduction? The answer is living organisms reproduce by one of the two modes of reproduction. First, asexual reproduction, and second, sexual reproduction. Next question is, what is meant by asexual reproduction? The answer is the type of reproduction by which offspring are produced from a single parent without fusion of sex cells is known as the asexual reproduction. Next question is, what are the features of asexual reproduction? The answer is since only a single parent is involved, the offspring are identical to the parent and to each other. Binary fission, budding, fragmentation, spore formation, and vegetative propagation are examples of asexual reproduction. Now let's see sexual reproduction. Next question is, what is meant by sexual reproduction? The answer is the type of reproduction in which new organisms are formed by the fusion of sex cells because of fusion of sex cells from two parents, a male and a female, is called sexual reproduction. Next question is, what is meant by gametes? The answer is sex cells or reproductive cells are also called gametes. The offsprings can show variations in their characteristics and are not identical to the parents. Let's see types of asexual reproduction. First, we will see binary fission. Bi means two and fission means splitting. Next question is, in which organisms this type of reproduction means binary fission is seen? The answer is this type of reproduction is seen mostly in unicellular organisms like amoeba, paramecium and euglena. Next question is, what is meant by binary fission? The answer is binary fission is a process in which a parent cell divides into two halves called the daughter cells. Next question is, explain the process of binary fission. The answer is at first nucleus elongates and divides to form two daughter nuclei. Then the cytoplasm of the mother cell divides to form two daughter cells. Each daughter cell has a nucleus and its own cell organelles. Next question is what are features of daughter cells? The answer is the daughter cells genetically are identical to each other. The daughter cells grow independently into adults that can undergo binary fission. Amoeba and paramecium are examples of organisms that undergo binary fission. Now let's see second type of asexual reproduction, that is budding. The next question is, explain the process of budding. The answer is in this method of reproduction, a new offspring or individual develops from small buds formed on the parent body. Buds Spots are small bulges or outgrowths that develop on the parent body due to repeated cell divisions. These bursts forms into tiny individuals. When these birds are fully mature, they separate or detach from the parent body to begin as a new independent individual. To begin as a life as new independent individual. The newly developed offspring or individual is the same as the parent as it has developed from only one parent. Next question is, which animals reproduce by budding? The answer is, animals like hydra and flatworms reproduce by budding. Unicellular fungi like yeast also reproduce by budding. The type of asexual reproduction in which a new organism develops from parts or fragments of the parent body is known as a fragmentation. The fragment of the parent body develop into new organism. The new organism, the regeneration and development of the new individual depend on the size of the fragment. If the fragment is large enough, it will regenerate and develop into a new individual. Liverworts, mosses and filamentous algae such as Spirogyra reproduce by fragmentation. Spirogyra grows as fine strands on the surface of the water. When conditions are ideal and enough nutrients are available in the water, the algae break into fragments on their own. Each fragment grows into a new organism. Echinoderm such as sea stars means starfish, annelid worms, flatworms means planarians, and hydra reproduce by fragmentation and regeneration. For example, if a part of a coral colony fragments, this fragment will regenerate and develop into a new coral colony. If an individual arm of a starfish is cut off or broken, this arm can regenerate into a new arm or even a new starfish. Regeneration is a process in which organisms can regrow a body part that is cut, lost, or broken. Now let's say spore formation. A spore is a reproductive cell associated with asexual reproduction. Spore formation is a method of asexual reproduction which is mostly found in non-flowering plants that do not bear seeds like ferns and mosses. Spores and seeds both are reproductive structures of the plant, but they are different from each other in many ways. Spores neither contain a plant embryo nor do they store food. These plants produce globular structure called sporangia, singular sporangium, which contains spores. Clusters of sporangia known as sori, singular sorus, are seen on the underside of the leaves of ferns. Spores are light and have a hard protective coat. On maturity, the sporangia burst open and release spores. In ferns, if the spores receive suitable conditions for growth, they germinate to give rise to inconspicuous small heart-shaped multicellular gametophyte called prothallus. The prothallus bears structure producing the male and female gametes. Fusion of male and female gametes results in the formation of a zygote. A new fern plant arises from the zygote. Hence, spore formation is only a part of a complete life cycle in plants such as ferns and mosses. Other lower organisms such as Rhizopus and Penicillium also reproduce directly by spore formation. Now let's see vegetative propagation or vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is a type of asexual reproduction in which a new plant grows from the vegetative part of the parent plant, such as the root, the stem, or the leaf. Vegetative reproduction can occur naturally or can be induced artificially. Natural vegetative reproduction is seen in many plants such as ginger, potato, sweet potato, and dahlia. Now let's see vegetative reproduction through the leaf. Leaves of some plants produce adventitious buds in the notched margins. These buds acquire food from the parent plant and develop into plantlets. As these plantlets separate from the parent plant, they begin to develop into new independent plants. Plants like Bryophyllum, Begonia, and St. Paulia show vegetative reproduction through the leaf. Now let's see vegetative reproduction through the stem in rhizomes. Vegetative reproduction through the stem is one of the most efficient means of reproduction in plants. Plants like ginger have stems that grow horizontally under the ground. These underground stems are called rhizomes. They are generally node-bearing swollen stems. The buds present on the rhizomes grow to form new plants with adventitious roots that develop on the ventral side. These new plants eventually become self-supporting. Now let's see vegetative reproduction through the stem in tubers. Tubers are swollen underground stems that bear axillary buds. These buds are also called eyes or lateral buds and are capable of developing into a new plant. The swollen tubers are modified to store food. You must have observed a potato with small outgrowths on it. Have you ever wondered what they are? They are the buds of the tubers. When the buds receive optimum conditions for growth, they develop into a new plant. The buds, along with the piece of potato, can also be planted to grow potato plant. Now let's see vegetative reproduction through the stem in bulb. Bulbs are modified underground stems that store food and aid in vegetative propagation. Plants like onion and garlic develop vegetative bulbs which can give rise to a new plant. An onion bulb has many leaves wrapped around each other. The inner fleshy leaves are the food reserves while the outer dry leaves protect the inner bulb. A thick, short, disc-like stem shows adventitious roots and bears the axillary bud at the center of the bulb enclosed within the fleshy leaves. A new plant arises from this axillary bud. Runners are stems that grow horizontally above the ground. Nodes are present on the runners. Nodes, when they come in contact with the moist soil, develop roots, and axillary buds present at the nodes produces the shoot. Thus, a new plant arises from the node. Plants like grass and strawberry reproduce by runners. Now let's see vegetative reproduction through the roots. In some plants, the roots develop adventitious buds on them. Roots of such plants are generally tuberous in shape and swollen to store food. Buds present on the roots develop into new plants when they get optimum conditions for growth. Vegetative reproduction through roots is seen in plants like dahlia and sweet potato. The roots are often stored and used for growing a new plant manually in the appropriate season.